In this video, we are going to discuss some of the properties a solvent must possess in order to be utilized for non-aqueous titrations. As we have discussed in the last video, why it is advantageous to go for non-aqueous titrations over the aqueous titrations for pharmaceutical formulation or products like weak acids and weak bases. So, when you are trying to titrate such weak acids and weak bases using non-aqueous titrations, you will surely need some solvents. Okay. Now, what are those properties which a solvent must possess? So, the first property it should possess is the capacity of self-dissociation. Now, capacity of self-dissociation means the solvent must be able to dissociate in the solution. Now, there are two possibilities. Certain solvents do produce solvated protons after dissociation and certain solvents do not. The solvents which produce solvated protons after dissociation, they are called as dissociating solvents, and the solvents which do not produce any such solvated protons on dissociation, they are called as non-dissociating solvents. I will give you some examples. For example, ethanol, C2H5OH. Now, if you look at the ethanol and if you look at the dissociation pattern, you will get C2H5O minus ethoxide ion plus H plus, and this is the solvated proton, right? But now look at CH3CO twice O, acetic anhydride. When acetic anhydride dissociates, it will produce acetate ion CH3CO minus plus CH3CO plus ions. See the dissociation pattern, it is not producing any solvated proton, right? So ethanol is called as dissociating solvent, and your acetic anhydride is referred as non-dissociating solvent. Okay, so this is the first thing which I wanted to discuss, the capacity of self-dissociation. It is mandatory for the solvent to undergo self-dissociation. Okay, now let's move on and let's figure out what is the next property. Okay, the next property is dielectric constant. Now, what is dielectric constant? Now, according to Coulomb's law, an equation is given. The force required to separate two ions, okay, two electrically charged particles, is given by minus E square upon dr square. Now, what is E? It is the electronic charge on the particles or ions. Okay, so if you are considering two ions and they are having charge E on them, and then this is the distance between both the ions, it is given by R, and D is the dielectric constant, it is a constant. Okay, now look at this equation carefully and you will observe that if the value of D, means the dielectric constant, is high, it is going to give you low value for force of attraction between these two, right? So if the force of attraction between these two charges is low, when the dielectric constant is high, see, when the dielectric constant is high, force of attraction between these two ions will be low. It means it is easier to separate these ions from one another, right? And if it is easier to separate the ions from one another, it can lead to complete dissociation, if you are getting me. If you are getting complete dissociation, that is good. So when you want your solvent to be completely dissociated, then you must choose the solvents with high dielectric constant. In that way, they will be completely dissociated and you will get the desired results. Okay, so these are the two properties, capacity of self-dissociation and dielectric constant. Now in the next video, we are going to discuss about some very important points like acid and base character of solvents. So there we are going to study what are aprotic solvents, protophilic and protogenic solvents, and amphiprotic solvents, and the discussion of differentiating effect and leveling effect. So if you have not subscribed yet, please do consider subscribing and hit the notification bell, and we will meet in the next video for discussing the differentiating and leveling effect of non-aqueous solvents. Take care. Bye bye.